Welcome to the Edge Up podcast, the show that helps you find your edge to level up your life. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, dude. So tell me, what are we looking at here? All I see are a bunch of lines.
Yeah, yeah. So just to kind of break down the chart is what we see. Uh, the blue line or area is your equity curve. The red is the drawdown. That if you were to trade this, so this is a snapshot of a strategy from July 23 all the way to January 25. This is of the pair euro yen, and this was a pair that I was trading a lot of 2024, and this thing has made me a bunch of money. But we kind of wanted to show you what happened throughout this time. So this is a simple WMA cross strategy that I was going long.
WMA stands for weighted moving average.
Weighted moving
Right?
average.
Okay, cool.
Simple, robust moving average system that piqued my interest. And I started implementing it at the end of 2023 into all the way up to May or June 24. And let's just start from November 23. You could see here the green. Also, the green, white, and red line, that's representing the actual price action of the market.
Oh,
And
wow.
so the green, yeah, this is what the market actually did. So the green is the profitable trades, the reds are the stop losses, the stop outs, the whites are neutral where no trades are taken. And so you can see from November 23 going up, the equity curve just kept going up and up. You're just hitting trades after trades. We actually peaked at 11% at the peak of May. And I remember this because I was up in Vegas with other traders and all took losses this week because of this big drop. So,
Do you know what happened during that time?
so supposedly the Bank of Japan intervened with the weakness of the yen, and they stepped in, and I think they started raising the interest rate or something.
Yeah, something like that, right? I think I recall what you're talking about.
So it was a negative. Well, it was good for the yen, negative for everyone, all the other pairs. The bulls tried to come back, push it up even higher, and we peaked at July 2024, and from then you could just see the blue curve, the equity curve. We have just been straight down step, because the weakness of the strategy is bearish markets. You're not going to make money in bearish markets. You're going to
So
get,
this is like a bullish edge specifically.
yes, the bullish edge
Gotcha.
specifically, correct. And because the topic of today, we want to just talk about edge erosion, right? So look what happened after the great. It's like a roller coaster. You got that first peak, that big drop off, and then the loop de loops after that, it's just up and down, the peaks and valleys, and ultimately we're ended at 1.6% net gain after over a year of trading this system.
I mean, like, with that's still, so we were talking 1.6 in the green though, right? Like, yeah, high was 11% or even 14% at one point, you said. Ends the year at 1%. I would say that's still good. That's a green year. I mean, if we're talking scale, we always talk about scale at Hawaii Trading Academy and how, like, if you had $1 million account, a 1% win is $10,000. It'd be nice to end the year if you're trading this and let's say you just let it run, and at the end of the year, you're like, oh, okay, close at 1% positive. At least I didn't lose money. You're still walking away with an extra 10K in the bank. So I mean, as from peak to low, that's pretty bad. But like, bringing it back and moving the conversation forward here is like edge erosion, right? Like, what does that mean specifically?
Yeah, the edge erosion, it occurs when the trading strategy or signal that was once effective begins to underperform. And so we started off this call with the visual of what edge erosion looks like. Um, and that happens. It's not just this one strategy. It's almost all strategies. Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
would.
definitely. And I think like what we we encourage traders like avoid those signal services because I feel like every single signal, and now I may be wrong here, but from my experience and your experience as well, that every signal ends up having this erosion where it's just not profitable at all. In fact, if you keep trading it, you're going to be losing money. And this is why we're so against these signal services, specifically signal services. And again, you trade signals, right? But like you're constantly evolving them, constantly adapting, and constantly reviewing them. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between like these signal service marketers versus like an actual edge that provides you the signal that you've created. So like when you see your own edge having this erosion type of feel in the markets, what are some like troubleshooting steps that you take or that you would recommend traders to take?
Yeah. There's a lot that goes on in my mind, or I start questioning because it's just the thought of seeing your portfolio perform at 11% gain, and to see that erode away to 1.6%. That'll do a little pain to you. It'll bring a little pain to you, right? You're like, dude, all right, I guess I can't go on a vacation now. So
So,
things I like to look at is data quality relevance. Like, okay, is my has there been changes in the data quality as far as my the quotes I'm getting? Is there discrepancies between the trading my broker and the actual market? You know, model robustness. So that's going to be the thing that um, I'm going to be leaning more on compared to these other things. Um, Especially with this euro yen example, robustness. Is your model overfitted to past data? Does it adapt well to new market regimes? Have I stress tested the model? So this recent performance of this model, it's definitely stress testing it. Like
yeah.
there's swings to be had, but there's also the equal amount of downturns.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a view adapting to the market too is like maybe you have to hold trades less or like I mean yeah less
Yeah.
time frame, right? Like that's the way you'll adjust it. You won't, so you've not discarded this system, right? You're just kind of like on the sidelines. You still implement it here and there, or like are you like,
Hmm.
all right, this system's done, I'm gonna find a new edge, or like are you implementing other edges into this one? Like how does that kind of look like?
Yeah, it's funny where it kind of like ironed it worked, it like worked out, where I'm not currently trading the forex market right now because I lost a account with a prop firm that
Oh,
allowed me to trade the forex market. So once that account went away, then I was like, I guess I'm not trading euro yen anymore.
but is that the big account?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Can we say the number at least? How big of this account was
It
the
was
account?
500K.
500K. Okay.
Yeah.
And what were you like specifically focused on the forex market? And you didn't lose it because of this edge erosion, right?
No, I didn't lose it because of the edge erosion. But it was funny how it just worked out. Now we're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at it in
perfect
hindsight, right?
timing.
So I'm like,
So
nah,
maybe
perfect
it's a
time.
blessing
Yeah,
in disguise. Yeah.
it is. It was.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, the euro yen trades were definitely a big contributor to my gains last year, for sure. But at the same time, it kind of is just going back to us with robustness as traders. Like, are we relying totally on the weight of one instrument performing? You know.
Yeah.
Uh, so what another thing I wanted to point out looking at this chart is the external factors. Were there new market participants or different strategies that neutralize the edge? And what came up to mind was the Bank of Japan intervening. That was
That was an external. Yeah, that's some
yeah,
things you can't control in your edge or
yeah,
see foresee in
for
your
it
edge.
drastically drop like that, it had to have an external thing. So was my system broken? No.
Yeah.
Not
Were
for
you
that.
broken?
Was I broken? Of course, you're gonna go through these things when you're not underperforming, obviously, Reed. Like, I'm sure you had your share of like questioning yourself,
Oh
changing your
yeah, dude.
strategy, right? Like, if you when you were in a slump or a losing streak, dude, what would run through your mind?
Oh man, what would run to mind? Like,
Hmm.
should I even be trading? Like that has come across my mind, but not. And that's actually an external factor too. Just people be like, you're still like losing money. Like, why are you still trading? It's like that. Of course, just feeds an inner fire in you, but at the same time also makes you question, like, all right, what am I not doing? And I think the pain, there's so much pain there too.
Yeah.
And when you're going through those drawdowns, I think that my biggest drawdown, and this was like a back-to-back thing, was 17 losses in a row, followed by like I won one, maybe two, and then go back straight to like 16, 17 losses in a row, dude. Like that was brutal. I mean, of course, there's so many things that I look back, I'm like, yeah, that's over trading or that's risk management. That's easy to look back on, but when you're going through it, it's not easy, man. You know what I mean? And I definitely had those questions like, is it my edge? No, it can't be my edge because other people are making money off the same edge. Okay, is it the market? No, it's not the market. It's like, okay, it has to be me. And it's like, but I don't feel wrong, and then it's just like that introspection that we have to start really asking ourselves the hard, tough questions. Like we always talk about
Mm.
it. We made so much content about it. It's like you really have to ask those difficult questions. And if you can't ask them, you need an accountability partner, dude. Like you've definitely brought out those tough questions where I'm like, oh, how's this guy asking me these questions? I'm like, you know what? He's asking the right questions though, because you learn like, and here's the thing that anyone listening is like, when someone asks you questions about your trading and it bothers you, that is a perfect sign where there's truth in it. It's like, oh shoot, I'm getting irritated or upset that that person asked me this. Actually, that's your body and your mind telling your subconscious saying, oh yeah, that's probably true. And so that's a good lesson that I've learned with all our coaching calls together, Glenn, between you and I, and just helping other traders as well. It's just those tough questions need to be answered. They need to be asked first, but they also need to be answered.
Oh, for sure. I mean, having you do the same for me, like when I have rough patches. No one's perfect. You need some sort of outlet. But yeah, I mean, that is a big question, and I think it could be a dangerous question too, of like blaming yourself, like, oh, it's me. You could go down the wrong road and just
Yeah,
start
definitely.
blaming things, like you just start downward spiral, start thinking less of yourself, when really the Bank of Japan is what screwed everybody up.
But
We
I
can
mean,
figure it out.
there is like you definitely have to take accountability, right? Of like,
Yeah,
okay, maybe I should hold off for trading, or maybe it's just not my market conditions for this edge. And then, but there's also what Brett Steenberger calls, he's like, it needs to be solution focused. So you could
yeah,
ask these questions, and they could be tough. But we don't want to get it to that point where it's like, okay, you're beating yourself up. It's like, okay, no, I'm asking these questions because I'm looking for an answer that may be part of the solution, right? That's why we're asking those questions, not to beat yourself up or anything like that. And when you do find, I would recommend, if you find yourself going down that dark path, like just beating yourself up, step out of it and look at all the good you've done. Look at all the winning trades you've done. Even if like you still have like, I would say, even if you have a losing edge right now, like just look at what's gone right for you. Look at those winning trades, those winning solutions, and then it creates that positive environment in your mind.
yeah, definitely. I mean, before you start blaming yourself, because it's never our fault, right? No,
Oh
before you
yeah.
do that, definitely, like, if you've done the back testing, your system, the 11 to 1% drop, like that's 10%. Is yours? Does your system does it give you 10% drawdowns? If
Like, is it
it does,
expected? Yeah.
if it's expected, then nothing's wrong with the system. Could it be less? Yes, maybe. We could have sized down, we could have did some other things to prevent it, but If these numbers already are just behaving the way we've seen it through our research and study, then we can't really deem the system to be really broken. It's just not performing the way we want it to.
So like to add to that, like when you start to see like, okay, like you said, you stopped trading EJ. What happened? Did you switch markets? Like what happened, dude?
Yeah, I just made my full focus back into the futures market. I've always been trading futures. You made me trade forex, so
And then in turn, Glenn
it
made me trade
turned.
futures. So we're on the same boat now, dude. You've shown me the light. I've shown you the darkness. We don't need forex right now, dude.
No, it's definitely it's I'm I can't I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna trade forex anymore. Like it's
I
still
am. I'm gonna say that for me. Yeah,
it's still gonna be there.
yeah, yeah.
And it offers different opportunities for sure. But at the moment, yeah, I just decide to focus on futures, and go from there. Um, I'll still have this system running in the background just so that I'll keep an eye on it. You know,
Yeah,
but as
yeah.
far as me taking trades, no, not at the moment.
I guess you're right because like the edge erosion, it's almost temporary, right? And then let's say in 27 or some 2027, we see very similar price action. Edge starts playing out again, and maybe that edge comes back, right? So once it's out, doesn't mean it's once it's down, doesn't mean it's out. Right.
Absolutely,
So I want to like touch on that though. Like, let's say you are trading that, you're gonna go through drawdowns. Drawdowns will be expected. Like, let's say bigger timeline. You're like, all right, across 10 years, I experienced 1 year of drawdown entirely. I think the key part we got to emphasize here is it comes down to risk management. One of the pillars that we teach or we emphasize highly is risk, edge, and psychology.
Hmm.
And that first letter, dude, is R. It stands for risk and risk management. So I think that's the biggest thing that's going to keep you alive, right? You need it ammo in the chamber, dude. You need bullets in
Yeah,
the chamber. You can't place a trade if you blow your accounts. So that's just something to think about too when you're going through like these edge erosions, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Because
zoom
like
out. Yeah,
I was thinking, sorry, last point is like you don't want to like if you do have a successful edge, you don't want to stop trading it if this is like your only edge, you just kind of want to reduce risk maybe. If you
yeah,
do have like an entire portfolio that this is part of the plan, then I think yeah, and it works, you have a really good history with a profitable edge. Just reduce risk during those times of drawdown, but set rules that go with it. Like, okay, 7 trades lost. Okay, now I need to reduce risk, or 2 trades, three, whatever it is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, ask yourself, is this drawdown within the expected performance of my edge, of this particular string?
Easy. Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught into the smallest, the minute moves, the week, the hourly charts of like, okay, it's crashing, all right, that's it, I'm done with this strategy, it's destroyed. But when you zoom out to the weeks, the months, the years, you're getting all wound up on this small speck, in this current time frame, and that's not a full representation of this trading strategy that you have. And it kind of leads us to the next part of just diversifying. Does maybe this strategy does still work, but maybe you got to put it in the oil market or put it in the gold market, or you know ES or futures, right? I mean, start dabbling into those different things. I don't like to use the word dabble. Start experimenting
Yeah.
into those different markets, and you may never know that. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think because I've applied one strategy from Forex, took it to the futures market, and I'm the results, like just on me going to the ES, like S&P 500 from pound yen is just like wow. There's definitely a huge winning curve if, but it's a specific time, it's New York Open, bro. So that's 4:30 a.m. Where previous, like GJ or Pound Yen, that's a yen session. That's where the volume comes in, but nothing beats a New York volume session. So it's just taking the same edge, applying it to a different time and market, and it's much more profitable, right? So
What was going through your mind when you did that? You're like, oh, I've been trading forex all these years. I'm gonna go take a stab at futures, but I'm gonna take this strategy that I have. Like, were you confident? Were you just like unsure?
I was confident because like I definitely I used the tools to back test it. I used TradingView to back test. I didn't have TradeZilla at the time, but I was looking at all the tools, specifically TradingView, using the replay button, going back before I actually applied real money. And I already had confidence in my system. And
Yeah,
so I was always taught like you could take one system, your edge should be able to be applied to any market and be profitable. May not be as profitable. Some markets will be higher than others, but overall, you should have if a winning edge is a winning edge across many markets. And so after I back tested and after I accepted the fact that like, oh yeah, this is gonna work, I was pretty confident going into futures. It's just getting familiar with how futures works with the contracts and everything, and new platforms to trade, how to trade, Trade all that stuff. So like that was a learning curve, but not specifically towards the edge itself.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, other tools you mentioned, TradeZilla. That's a good tool. They recently revamped their back testing software there.
Yeah, I would say you don't even need TradingView now. I would recommend just using TradeZilla for specifically for backtesting. I still use TradingView for chart
Chart
analysis.
analysis, yeah. Yes, TrendSpider is definitely one that will stick around for me. Edgeful, read.
Yeah, I
That's
use Edgeful. Edgeful
good.
is just basically an additional resource. It's not necessary, for a successful edge, but it specifically gives you edge if you're looking for like let's say engulfing candles or something. It'll show you the edge like, oh, if today opens with a bullish engulfing of a certain candle size, there's a percentage that price will continue to move bullish or bearish. And so just using that extra edge, let's say you have like a 50% edge, for example, and then using an edgeful report, you could increase that win rate to over 50%. And that's what Edgeful essentially is. It helps you increase the edge and it goes smoothly with your trading plan.
Does Edgeful have stats for forex too, or
Yeah, so it has like all the
nice?
markets and then it has like
Yeah.
all kinds of reports that you could think of. What's really amazing about them is if you have an idea that you don't necessarily have a report for, you could tell them, hey, I'm looking for this. I want to know the reports for that at this time or this area or market. And they'll be like, all right, here you go. Boom. And then, I mean, that's pretty much what happened with me. I had an idea, but they already had one. And it was just a different name. And they're like, oh yeah, try look at this report. I think this is what you're looking for. And boom, very helpful people there at Edgeful. Really great report. I mean, like, that's amazing. I think that's another thing. Like, when you have edge erosion, right? Is like look for other tools
Yeah.
that maybe like help you refine that specific edge. So that's just another thing to add to the list there.
Yeah, I mean it's our ability as traders to adapt.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I mean, technology has been such a big game changer in the market. So definitely you want to be the one to learn, utilize it for our own benefit. Um, Going back to just the edge erosion itself, like it'll happen, guys. You could have the most perfect strategy, you could think about it, but it'll happen. Okay.
Yeah, and I was just like edge erosion doesn't mean it goes to zero. It just means like
Yeah.
on average I'm returning 13% a month or something or a year. Now I'm only returning 2%. Like, so you're not in the red, but it's just like I'm not making as much as I used to. That's when we could begin to troubleshoot, be like, okay, is it me? Am I over trading? Am I not taking enough trades? Or is it the market? Then we going back to like what we were just talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And then, adapt ultimately. So, like for example, like we started off this whole conversation with a bullish EJ strategy. So, Glenn, all I had to do was just figure out a bearish strategy. That's
Oh yeah, could
it.
have cut the move up 11%, cut the move down for 11%. There you go.
That's it. I mean, ultimately, guys, it's you being able to adapt to the market, having a robust strategy, and finding the opportunity where it is. The next ones, just be prepared for the next opportunity.
Facts. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope this helps you. If you guys have questions, please ask away. Glenn, you're live. When are you live?
Tuesdays, I will be
Tuesdays
live,
at 8 p.m.
8 p.m., sir. I posted it in our Discord, our little schedule. So,
Perfect. It's
yes,
cool. So if
sir.
you guys aren't part of our Discord, check the links below if this is public. Um, if you're not, I also trade 4:30 a.m. In our Discord as well on Fridays. So guys, if you're watching this from our net alpha, tune into those calls. It's open floor. And then if you're not yet, check us out, guys. We'd love to have you. But other than that, thanks for listening.